Everyone, Nixie here. Today I'll show you how I was able to win 4 different My Hero Academia figures on 4 different claw machines. So here's the first one. The first one is Katsuki Bakugo, and it's on the uneven slanted bars. So this is pretty much the starting position. As you can see, the front corner doesn't have much hanging over the bar, which is why I decided to play for it. In addition to that, the figure was not too far toward the right so that I would still be able to give the option to use the right claw in addition to the left claw. So the goal was to scoot the front corner off to the right side so that it could fall through the wider side of the bars. So with that, let's see my first play. So here I use more of the left claw to scoot it toward the right. And it did move about a little bit, maybe like a centimeter. So for my second play, I definitely wanted to do like something very similar and use the left claw to scoot it more to the right. So this one was all on the left claw versus my first play had a little bit of the right claw, and this one did very minimum. So I knew for my third play I would have to use both sides of the claw because this figure would be too heavy otherwise. So both sides of the claw, turn, move it to a right, and it did move, I'd say, more than my second play. So my fourth play, I definitely want to continue with the same strategy, use both claws, scoot this thing over to the right. And as you can see, the right claw actually got underneath the box and it flipped it over to the left side, which is actually completely fine and actually even better because it's easier to maneuver when it's in this vertical position so that I can use the left claw to scoot it over to the right. So that one didn't work, so I decided to go from the back. Yay, and that did it. So sometimes flipping it vertically is easier because there's less of the plastic of the figure attached to the sticky bar and makes it easier to move. So on to the second one. So here's the second one I won, which is Shoto Todoroki. As you can see, this is on the parallel bar setup, or like a multiple parallel bar. So I actually found him in this position. The one I'm going for is in the back. And my goal is to straighten the box by using the left claw to move the back of this part of the box forward so that I can fall toward the right. So let's check out my first play. So here I definitely wanted to maximize it by going behind the bar to try to scoot it forward, and it did scoot it just a little bit, kind of wobbling. So for my second play, I definitely was going for the same thing. Go for the back corner of the box, go behind the bar, and try and scoot it forward. And here, it moved it a little bit, but it ended up sliding off. So that's something you might notice is that when you go for the corner that's on the other side of the bar, the claw ends up slipping off of the box, not doing much. So this one, I made sure that the claw was in front of the bar, and in this case, it ended up falling forward, which is fine because this part actually there's quite a bit of space here, so that my goal for this play was to move this so that it'd fall this way. And it actually lifted it all the way up and over, so that's awesome. It saved me another play, which I thought it would take. So here is the third one I won. Isuku Midoriya. This is on the super slanted bars. I don't know if you noticed, but the white bar is actually slanted like this way. In addition to it slanting that, there's more space on this side and more narrow on this side. So I actually started this after someone was playing right before me and just pretty much played one play. They used the right claw to move this corner of the box to the left, and they promptly left. I think it's probably they probably realized there's actually not a lot of playing space from the starting position of the claw to actually continue moving this corner of the box left. So I immediately jumped in and started playing. after they left. And here's my first play. So here I was going for the back corner since I saw that the front corner wasn't, you can't really move it that much, and I hit the bar. So for my second play, I definitely want to try again and go for the back corner, and I hit the bar again. So for the third one, I'm like, okay, I really got to get this back corner. Let me try it again. And I hit it again. Yes, this must be kind of painful to watch. It's kind of painful for me to watch. So 4 tries, still going for the back corner. And I swear I thought it was crazy, but actually realized on this fourth play that the claw machine the claw does not actually go any further back. So sometimes it kind of like, I think I stop it, but then actually I realized it doesn't go any farther back. So for my fifth one, I was like, okay, we have to stop it way earlier. And for that one, it pretty much just slid off. There wasn't much of a grip. So for this one, I was like, okay, let's make sure to use both sides of the claw and move this thing right. So the left one was able to get a grip on it, and it did scoot the front slightly toward the right. So this one, I actually ended up flipping the box, which was great because when you flip it, it tends to be easier to maneuver. And in my play number 8, I was trying to scoot it right just because I was really scared if I started moving it left, I wouldn't have any more space. But because it's slanted in this upward direction, that would be like pretty hard. So I was like, okay, fine. I have to scoot this thing left and hopefully have enough space for it to play. So that one moved a lot. So that was super awesome. So same tactic, move the box toward the left using the right claw. Great, that was a super great movement. So same tactic, I was running out of space on the left side as it doesn't go any further left. So I was hoping that it wouldn't take much longer to get this thing to fall down. And on that move, hit the bar. It was kind of hard to judge because the camera view is on the left side. And here's for my 12th play. Readjusted, made sure I had enough clearance, and was able to win using the left claw to lift the box. So I hung around to see what the restock looked like. And apparently Toreba thought like I won it so easily because they made it harder. As you can see, they moved the claw more toward the right. So it's like a good several inches toward the right. And the starting position where there's more of the box hanging over the corner. So this is something I definitely wouldn't play because there was already like so little movement toward the left that I could have used to actually win this. So this one's actually gonna be super challenging. And looking back, I feel like I should have been able to win it in like 5-6 plays, and it ended up taking 12. So hopefully you guys don't make the same mistake on this type of setup. And here is the fourth one that I won, Kirishima Eijiro, also known as Red Riot. So I am not a fan of this setup where they have a plushie or figure hanging between a sticky bar and a solid metal bar. I've definitely been burned in the past about trying to win something like this that looks like it's falling, except it just, there's like has to be some trick to getting the item to fall, but then I do see in the winning replays that all people do, and sometimes it's just lift it up and it just flings down and they win. So looking at this, it was definitely hard to pass up because if you can see, this is so close to falling. Like there is just a small corner holding the figure up. So this was actually a really hot machine. I queued in, I was 5th, and then it was my turn because people just couldn't figure out how to win it. So I was going for pretty much the very standard strategy. And so this one, I wanted to use the left claw to grab it on the left side to help scoot it right. And that's strong. It wasn't very strong, so I couldn't even get a grip on it. It was very weak, so I didn't even pick it up. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to do a slightly more centered grip a little bit to see if I can get farther up to grab it. So it does touch it, but then the right claw wasn't able to grip it, so it didn't even move it up. I was like, okay, so that's not working. Let me just go completely in the center and straight up and grab it. So my strategy was that the lower you grab it, the higher it'll go, bring more momentum when it will fling down, and that didn't work. So I readjusted just a little bit to make sure that it would grip it so it can lift and then hopefully fall. So that one's a slightly better grip. As you can see, it didn't really do much, but I'm hoping maybe it's like millimeters or slightly getting loose. So still aiming for the bottom portion of the box to help lift it up. Didn't get much of a grip there. 6 play, similar strategy. Wanted to really get a good grip on the box so that I can lift it and just have momentum, like fling it out when it drops. And I just couldn't get a good grip. Just like the claws didn't close very well. So I was like, let's try something different for the 7th play. So I ended up going really close to it, and it ended up gripping it really well, and it flung out. So definitely super excited I was able to figure out the trick. The thing is that with this type of setup, there's all sorts of versions. Like sometimes they don't allow you to go that close to the sticky portion of it, and sometimes this has rubber on it, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes the claw's really big. So it can be really tricky because there's all sorts of different ways to win it depending on this type of setup up here and how far they let you go to the figure. So I hope you definitely learned a few things watching this, and I will see you in the next video.